some people do genuinely like the show.
Like, they do.
I would say more than a lot of other Marvel things that have come out on Disney Plus. Certainly, I think it's fine. I don't think it's much to write home about.
This is something to talk about later on in the show, Ryan.
Yeah.
Sorry, should I talk about fucking Silent Hill or some fucking gay bullshit? I'm sorry. I wasted 4 hours of my fucking life on this goddamn fucking bullshit show. Oh my gosh. I want to talk about it.
Oh my gosh. How unfair.
Oh my God.
You sound like Dave Filoni right there.
My life fucking sucks.
Nerderotic.com.
There's another show that came out this week called Wonder Man.
I thought it was called Isn't Hollywood Great? Aren't we right up our own bums? Man. So
it was a curious choice of character. Not, it's a C-level character, mostly known for being an Avenger. They did race swap the character, and they decided to get irreverent about it. And it's like, it's actually not going to be about superheroes. It's going to be about struggling actors and Hollywood.
We all put our personal experiences in. We wanted to capture the LA and the side of Hollywood that you don't typically see portrayed on film. The non-glitz and glamour side, the living in a one-bedroom apartment that smells like feet, and you can see the Hollywood sign in the distance, and your dream is like way over there while you're eating top ramen to survive. That's the feeling of this show. It was very easy to reproduce because it's all a part of our experience and our memory.
That's what makes this show bad. This is a show that doesn't understand what it's supposed to be or its identity, and it takes a dump on.
It's not a superhero
people who want a superhero.
So you didn't like it?
I'm pissed off at it because of the fact that it doesn't know what it's supposed to be, and then it tries to kind of blue ball at you at the end. It's like, oh no, there is a superhero element here. Piss off! Nothing about this was about superheroes, and then you want to try and pretend that this is a retarded origin story for this one that now you get it. No, you've ruined that opportunity. You can go jump off a cliff.
I'm sort of okay with that, but like Ben Kingsley's amazing. I think he's a great actor, and I think he was very good in this. And I actually think the main character is a good actor as well. And I think there was some decent performances by the pair of them. They're both good, and they had good chemistry together, which is ironic considering you can't seem to get two people with chemistry together in anything else nowadays. But my problem was, why?
Yes.
Yeah. That was my problem with the show. It's just like I got absolutely nothing from it. It was decently shot. It was decently edited. There was decent choreography. There was some decent lines in the writing. But it's just like, this is just a story about us and Hollywood, and aren't we so great? And it's so important being an actor, and our world means something, and we bring joy to the masses. Taking this show from the 60s and bringing it back, it's going to inspire everybody to look up at it. And I'm just like, you're just blowing out your own ass.
Yeah, well, I think that's kind of the point.
That was the point.
Degree.
That was the point. Yeah. This was taking the piss out of Hollywood. So, I spent a very, very short amount of time in that world in California. It is as narcissistic as this show made everyone out to be. Everyone's full of themselves.
I don't think they were doing it with awareness. I think they were doing it because that's what they think of themselves.
You know what it is? It's the director, the Van Cola, coming out with the crazy hair, and he sounds ridiculous half the time, and he's constantly making all these platitudes, right? I interpreted that as taking the piss out of Hollywood, because that's how they sound.
Very surface level. You can have a surface level character like him with crazy hair, but when you listen to what they're actually saying and how they're talking about their industry, do you know what? To me, it's The Boys season 2.
Girls get it done.
Girls get things done. And then at the end, it's like, but really though, girls do get things done. And it kind of felt this way. Oh, Hollywood, it's so silly. And, everybody's so absorbed with themselves. And by the end, they were saying, no, we mean something. We really do.
Yeah, because a lot of those important scenes were the two main characters talking to each other on their own without the director in at all.
As you're 100% right, it's about what they actually say at the end. Like, if they're going to pretend that, we're kind of, just making a mockery of this, at the end, the payoff is that no, it's all valid. Like everyone loved the movie at the end. All the crap and narcissism is bringing people true joy and fulfillment, and acting is this higher calling that you really must embrace and all that stuff.
I think they wanted you to get the vibe, this facade of, oh, look, we are making fun of ourselves. We are poking fun at ourselves. And I think some of that was present in there. But I think they only went halfway with it. I don't think they have the confidence or the wherewithal to actually go all the way, because they do think what they're doing is very important. They do think race swapping is important. They do think representation is important. They do think all this shit actually is important. So it's only like a kind of a soft parody of themselves.
I agree.
As opposed to what this could have been. I feel like if they went all the way with it. And I don't mind the idea of doing a show in the Marvel universe that's not about superheroes. And I think they marketed it that way. It's not like it did a bait and switch. All the marketing showed you this is a movie, or this is a show about the industry, not really about superheroes. Remember the first couple, like 20 minutes of Agatha All Along, when it was like this weird cop show almost?
Yeah,
and I was like,
procedural.
Yeah.
Than
Them on the front lawn.
Yeah, yes.
And the idea of that, just a couple cops that are maybe assigned to this task force that investigates superhuman stuff that happens, and following them along, that could be an interesting show that I'd watch. Not a lot of people would watch it compared to the superhero stuff. That's okay. You can have different things in the universe. But ultimately, what I went away with the show is, why should I ever care about this character ever again? It's just about Hollywood, and I'm not interested.
It's such a strange choice for a show, and internally a lot of people were excited about it, but apparently management wasn't, and that's why they dumped it all at once. And that was probably a really good idea, because this would have been a slog weekly.
Well, they haven't pushed it at all, have they?
No.
Not really.
Last 2 weeks they started doing a lot, but before that, nothing. Why would you? This, and I see a lot of people be like, I can't believe Marvel didn't push this more. That's what happens to their color projects, their projects with leads of color, right?
Oh, fuck off.
This is never going to appeal to a lot of people. I think it's the right thing to dump it all at once. I think it was the right thing to not put a ton of marketing behind it, even if you are like super proud, because it's not a superhero thing. Most people care about Marvel because it's a superhero thing.
Yeah, if it was a healthier franchise, something like this would have worked. And I think it might have even been more successful. My thoughts on the series: slow start. I liked episode 4. I like the doorman one, because I've read the GLA. The middle episodes are fine, and it gets slow. Middle episodes are fine, and then it gets slow again with kind of a dumb ending. And I will never watch it again. But I can probably say it's the most earnest thing Disney Marvel has done in live action. The performances by Abdul Mateen, yes, I had to look that up and remember it, because I was never going to do that. And Kingsley are like endearing, and they're good, and they have good chemistry, and the little buddy thing. All the other actors, though, aren't that great in it, and ultimately it's pretty forgettable, you know. And I don't know who would go back and rewatch this at all. I don't know if anybody would even watch this the first time and sit through 8 episodes, even though they're short. They felt longer than a Night of the Seven Kingdom episodes, which are pretty much the same length.
I don't think anyone survives the first 3 if you release this weekly. It doesn't even get to the rest. What they forget is that episodes of television should be satisfying on their own individually, so that you can wait till the next week. You can't do this big long thing where you're like, well, if you get to the last half of it, it's decent. It's like,
If you're really into the industry, you might be into this, but it is Hollywood loves to make shit about themselves. The problem is, you're like in late stage Hollywood right now. You have runaway production and studios closing, and you're begging for tax leniency. And, you know, maybe it's a bygone era, but I didn't care enough. You know, I watched it. I'm like, okay.
There's also some things. It was tough to tell what they wanted you to feel about Simon. It felt like they wanted you initially to feel really, really bad. Oh, this poor guy who really cares about this, really cares about this. But half the time, they finally kind of lean into it at the end when he gets some success, but it's kind of that way a lot of the way anyway. He is so fucking self-centered. And just, again, in his own like cloud, basically, doesn't give a fuck about anyone else. And I feel like they didn't do enough to show you that. They wanted you to feel bad for him most of the time. Also, the entire plot of this thing is, hey, something bad happened on set when you had a super powered person. An accident happened. Josh Gad disappeared and basically died inside someone else.
I like
which
that
probably
episode.
will happen to Josh Gad at some point in his life. And it's really not that much of a tragedy if it does. And so they ban superheroes or anyone with superpowers from being on set. And Simon has superpowers. He's known since a child, blah, blah, blah. They're worried that he's going to figure out his secret. The government is portrayed. I don't know what they were going for here. You can make a lot of guesses as to what they were going for, but the Department of Damage Control, they're like, hey, superpowered people are a threat. But our problem is we built this huge prison to house them, and it's only half full. So we need to go out there and arrest these people before they even commit crimes. It's really weird. But
what they say, they need to arrest more so they get more money. So it's specifically paid private prisons that are the problem.
You could say it's commentary on the the prison system.
Sure.
Yeah, it sounds like what they think of
after
Black
they
people.
just ripped up the Sokovia Accords.
The problem is Simon Williams should be fucking locked up. This is a dangerous dude who has no control over his fucking powers. He's caused explosions before, and he causes a massive explosion because he can't control his powers at one point in this show. He should be locked up. The government's right. Lock his ass up and throw away the fucking key.
He's done this before. He blew up his kitchen, and he was like scared that anyone will ever find out that he's gone through his entire life almost killing people. You are supposed to feel sorry for him. All his problems are caused by himself, and he's only rescued by his friend, which I think is why they're going for this kind of buddy, you have to have friends kind of storyline. But he never really seems to learn. Even when he gets success, he almost blows up his main character role and still has to get bailed out by somebody else.
Just think about this main character, right? Well, what is supposed to endear us to him? We open with he's actually a bit of an oblivious idiot that he can't tell that overthinking a role is pissing people off and you get fired for it.
Dude, a lot of actors do that, though.
That was just stupidity. And it's like, you're making this guy look like an idiot. And he has these powers that is never bothered to actually try and learn how to control. Potentially, he knows superheroes exist, that they can use powers to save the world, and that he might be able to do something good with them. But instead, no, he does a selfish thing to try and lock them away and only look after himself. And he's been pursuing this selfish goal of fame and glory, right? And letting his brother pay for him, and is not supporting his mother and all this stuff. And so, hang on, this is supposed to be the character we're supposed to be rooting for just because he's an underdog? All his problems are caused by himself, and he doesn't really deserve to succeed because it's problems of his own making that is not learning to actually be better at. Like, literally, he gets bailed out by Ben Kingsley at the end for the same problem he got fired for in the first thing. He hasn't learned a thing, this guy.
And then he makes that pointless. He makes the sacrifice. Now you've destroyed two lives.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't think he was selfish. I think he loved the craft. And I think he was in it for the craft. But the main character of this story was Ben Kingsley by a long shot. I mean, he was dominating every single scene he was in. He is a superb actor, and he actually gave Trevor Slattery, who'd been turned pretty much into just a joke. He actually turned into a human being. And I actually, one of the bits I did like about the show was when he actually turned into the Mandarin again.
Yeah.
And I actually kind of popped for that. Yeah, I was just like, I had you fooled all along. No, I always was the Mandarin and you never saw me coming. And it was just great. I thought that was really great.
Hello, America.
But it actually felt like the first bit of sincerity. Even though I thought Abdul was acting well, and I did like the chemistry, I am like Shad. I am confused as to why am I meant to like this person. He didn't give me anything to really hook onto. And after the first 3 episodes of kind of trying to hook on, I was actually happy with the Dorman episode because I actually thought the Dorman episode was pretty decent and very clearly set out why you're not allowed to have superpowers while working in the film industry, which made a lot of sense. But then I was thinking, this Dorman character is actually much more interesting than what's going on with Wonder Man, Simon. And so when that was a 1-episode thing, I was thinking he was coming back to be a villain later on, and he never returns. And I'm like...
He shows up in the Great Lake Avengers. Fake Wizard, you were going to say something.
Yeah, this is... I don't think you're meant to like him the whole time. He's not a superhero because it's not a superhero story. I know that's what it's supposed to be. It's Wonder Man, but you're not supposed to like him. It's 2 blockhead buffoons in Hollywood that are unlikable, that are full of themselves.
No, but Trevor's very likable. Trevor's likable.
Okay, but as people, you wouldn't want to necessarily hang out with these people. I think that's where I'm like, they're taking the piss out of Hollywood almost, because by all accounts, he's an idiot that's gonna get himself caught. He makes a lot of stupid mistakes the whole time, and he's flawed. And I guess for me, I see having characters that have flaws and then have to seemingly somehow overcome them, even though it was done off screen and they don't tell us everything. We don't get the backstory. We also don't get any kind of conclusion for him becoming the hero. That's what they did. We get the end of, he makes the movie, and then there's an epilogue, but there is supposed to be this inference that he's overcome and now he's going to be like some kind of a hero. I understand that's not good, but he's not likable the whole time. He's supposed to be this flawed, almost narcissistic guy that can't get out of his own way. And that's the Hollywood actors. That I felt like that was them. Like Gary said, and I know Chris Gore has said this too, like if you like Hollywood or if you've been there or if you're interested in the business, like this is making fun of the business. It just didn't go all the way like we wanted it to, of really punching right hooks.
They played it safe with that.
With the story and characters, you do need to like somebody, or if they're evil, you have to root for them by making somebody else worse. Heisenberg is not a good guy, but you still root for him against every single person he faces.
I think compelling. You need to make them compelling. You don't necessarily need to like them. I think
that's why Trevor worked.
I thought he was going to turn villain.
Yeah,
I at times you're like, oh, is this a villain origin? Is he going to snap and explode and just is this like? And then the government's going to arrest him? Are we dealing with the boys here? Is it going to get serious? And it doesn't, because then it keeps going back into the comedy beats. But the whole time I'm like, this is a villain origin story. This isn't a superhero.
What carried the show was the performances, and just of the two main actors, because everybody else was just kind of meh. There's so many opportunities they had. Ryan brought up like that they could have leaned into, and it could have been great. It could have been something great where you really tackle both sides of race swapping, or you get a little more. I don't know. I would say you go a little harder on Hollywood than they did.
Tropic Thunder is a great example. Like, there's the movie of it.
Yeah, but we're in a different era, a different world. That shit's not going to happen anymore because, they're full of shit. They're full of themselves.
And still, this is probably the most decent show they have made, and it's not about superheroes. So take that for what you will.
Wait, who was this made for apart from people in Hollywood?
Well,
this is a Marvel property. That's
the question.
I'm a fan of Marvel Comics. I love superheroes. This has a Marvel logo. Wonder Man is an established Marvel superhero character. You serve this up, and I'm just pissed off that I didn't get the order I wanted. Doesn't matter how good the performances are. And Ben Kingsley, best part of the show. There were parts that I even got a chuckle out of, but through every episode that might have redeemed itself, I kept asking myself, why the hell am I watching this?
Him running into like old drug dealers who still that did make me chuckle.
That did make me chuckle, yes.
That's funny.
The most unbelievable thing about this was all that Mexican candy they were making that when he tested, he was like, this is really good. Mexican candy is dog shit.
Horrible.
Horrible. It's not good.
Terrible and awful. Mexican candy, you know why it doesn't taste good? Because it's all the poor people in Mexico that can't afford actually sugar and shit like that, right? So they just it just tastes like dirt and chili powder. That's what every fucking Mexican candy and some dried fruit. It's disgusting. It's awful.
Any phone calls even go to our human resources and inclusive and diversity officer, Ryan Kinnell.
But even that, though, I wasn't sure if that was a joke, because that guy lies to everyone to try and make friends with them. He would eat the worst crap in the world and say, like, this is delicious. You've got a great business here, son, just to try and get them on side.
That's one of the things I actually really disliked about the way the show ended. Trevor's so good kind of on his feet and like in these circumstances and stuff like that. And the idea that when the Times reporter went after him, that he couldn't handle that was kind of unbelievable to me. And then when he gets confronted by Simon at the end, the fact that he doesn't try to do a better job, he wants to be honest, but he could have gone into such more explicit detail about what he was under in all the situation. Instead, he just let Simon walk away.
I think it would have been fucking cool if they Kaiser Soze'd it and made him the fucking Mandarin at the end.
Ooh.
Like he was the Mandarin the whole fucking time. Instead of the ending we got, because we're supposed to be on a redemptive arc, and Fake Wizard's right. He even calls himself an asshole at some point. Like when he's talking to his girlfriend, he's like, oh, I am a fucking asshole. Jesus Christ. And he manipulates a guard to get into the prison. And even though he pays him off, He fucks this guy's life. If you put any logic into it,
Yeah.
this guy's going to get arrested and put away for the rest of his fucking life.
Investigation.
Yeah.
His finances are going to be gone over.
It's not a happy ending.
No.
Yeah.
I did like it though when it's Trevor like, why are you here for the money? And he's just like, to pay off on prostitution and drug debts. I did laugh at that. I actually thought you, Gary.
Thanks, pal. Appreciate
Less
it.
on the prostitution side, but definitely on the drugs.
Dude,
side.
when they were doing the workshopping shit in the house, I thought that was pretty funny. With the director, and I thought that was a good look at Hollywood, and they're trying to like make this other superhero movie. But I thought they were going to go more into like they even have a magazine that says superhero fatigue, and they didn't even like really talk about it. They didn't really get into the race swapping.
It was marketed that way though.
It certainly was.
The very first trailer focused on superhero fatigue and remakes and like all these things and how like the audience is sick and tired of them. They really didn't touch too much on that.
No.
Now you had one little line where he's like, usually I never do a sequel, but maybe we should think about it in this case. And then obviously Josh Gad does Cash Grab 2, after they made money. But to me, it was the facade of we're really making fun of ourselves, guys, with a little bit in there. But I think the people that make this, I feel like, take themselves too seriously to truly do a good parody of that.
Agreed.
It didn't even feel like a parody to me. And to the superhero fatigue thing, loads of the early access reviews all had, this is the anti-superhero fatigue in it, as if it was already a talking point that they'd already gotten. But I don't think I disliked it as much as a lot of you. I thought half the episodes were watchable. I wouldn't describe them as good. I think to me it's a lot more like water. It's I don't really...
Yeah,
it's not something I despise. I don't particularly like it, but I could see why other people would like it.
It does not totally suck. Like I didn't think it was great.
Better than WandaVision.
I think it's mid.
Better than Secret Invasion.
Yeah, dude, it's better than Peacemaker. It's better than Ironheart. It's better than Agatha.
It's still not worth a subscription. Yeah. And it's forgettable. There's no reason to ever watch it again.
Yeah.
As far as the Disney Plus Marvel series go, this is probably up there with one of the best ones they've made, which is a low bar, certainly. I don't think it's bad. I think it's fine. But it is also the least impactful of anything that they've done and the thing that's going to matter least for anything in the future. It's here it is, there it goes, and it's gone forever. It just doesn't matter. When you're in this universe, and you could actually do some very interesting things, and you're dealing with interesting things in terms of the rights of people who have superpowers in this world, which you've done things with before. I just feel like if you're going to tackle that, you missed a lot of opportunities.
I agree with what you're saying in isolation. If you were to consider it in isolation, Ben Kingsley is funny and is good and everything like that. But this is supposed to be a superhero Marvel thing. They've latched it onto that, right? And for me, in that context, this is one of the worst superhero shows made. Because there's nothing about it. It's made by people that I feel don't like superheroes, think that it's, crap, but they latch on to do their own little kind of artistic story about Hollywood, everything like that. And, we'll only get funding by putting Marvel's name on it. So let's shoehorn it in and do that. And as a superhero fan, I find that insulting.
Well, in a lot of ways, Chad, it reminds me of the Joker movie, the first one. And it's like, it's very clearly not a superhero story, but they slapped the Joker label on it to get this movie made, and that's probably what they did with the series, in my opinion.
They slapped the Joker label on, but they made sure it was Joker. Like, it wasn't just a label. They made sure that main protagonist behaved, acted in a manner that their world Joker would. So you're never in any doubt that this was like, you weren't thinking, this is just some Joe Public, and then at the end to put white makeup on and I'm the Joker type of thing. I'm kind of with Shad in as much as I think this is a competently made show with good performances. Like I said, I think it's got some good direction, editing, cinematography. It's got all of that. But the problem is, this is a Marvel show. And I'm not bothered if you don't do the superhero thing in terms of having a main superhero protagonist. That's okay. But your world then has to link into something relating to that. Ryan said earlier, when we saw like the beginning of Agatha, the actual show about finding a dead body and where does this link and who does it have, does it have links to heroes? Is this what we're going to discover? We're going to all these little mysteries, which could that in itself was way more interesting than Agatha was. And there was nothing I found in this show that made me think, well, what's this got to do with the MCU? Because
I think that's the idea.
This to me was more Birdman than it was Marvel.
Remember Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? When Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. came out and there was Joss Whedon and you had Kevin Feige and they said that this is going to run parallel to the movies. You can catch it if you want. You don't have to watch it, but it'll be kind of connected. I think that's where Disney Plus is going back because they put everything into Disney Plus. It hasn't worked out. They're bleeding people. No one's going to see the movies anymore. People like us are being invented because these things are so bad. You have to change things. This went into production in 2022. I can only imagine how many changes were made over time to get us to this point. I saw this as an experiment. It has nothing to do with nothing. It's actually not even worth and because it has nothing to do with anything, it's not worth your subscription dollars, number one, but it doesn't connect over. This doesn't take us into Doomsday. If he shows up in Secret Wars, you're going to say, wait a minute, he doesn't even belong here. He's not even a superhero. It's just it's actually the furthest away from what Shad was describing. It's not a superhero film. It just has Marvel on it. We're using IP, trying to get you to watch Disney Plus, but we can't tie it to anything anymore because we can't take the risk of people not watching or hating it.
Well, the issue, one of the criticisms that have been raised over and over again is, I don't want to watch this movie because there's so much homework. So then they make something which is separate, and it's like, well, this is not inflecting anything. I think the problem is you can't make something separate that doesn't knock it out of the park and have its own pull.
I think you almost need to praise Marvel for basically like being a puppy that doesn't shit on your carpet for the first time. And you go, good boy. You didn't totally suck.
Nerderotic.com. Please subscribe.